So what's up? This is BSP. Hey, so check this out. Check this out. So, I've been getting a lot of questions, man, from friends on, what to do when they pick up a lady over here in Japan. Okay, so, this is all for all the guys out there looking for women that's going to come over here, or actually not looking for women that are actually going to come encounter, my words are all messed up. They're going to encounter women that want to sleep with them or that they want to sleep with, right? So, you got your various situations. You're at a club, you're in there jamming, you get the groove on, the woman's telling you, well, no, we're not going to do that night, not going to do that. And next you know, you in the taxi, you on your way to somewhere, right, with this woman. Well, what you need to do, you need to remember, there's a certain protocol in Japan, especially when it comes to sex, when it comes to sleeping with women over here. Okay, a lot of relationships get started on the wrong foot because guys are mistaking good sex for, okay, now you my girl. No, it doesn't work that way in Japan. And I think that this little video I'm going to do here is going to help you understand the protocol, how things work. Now, I used to frequent love hotels a lot when I was living in Japan, more than 20 years ago. The last love hotel I was at was almost 20 years ago. It was in '05 in Nagasaki somewhere. And so, I met this honey, and, we kicked it off real good. And me knowing how things work in Japan, I said, okay, well, look, there's a love motel, not too far from here. Because when you're walking around, taking public transportation or whatever you're doing, things are going to stick out to you. And the first thing that you need to understand is where the love motels are, they got love motels all over, but sometimes they're hard to spot. My first love motel I went to was in Okinawa, and I drove this lady, up into, because I met her at school. She had a crush on me. I met her at school. She courted me, man, for a while. She was like all in my face. Time I turn around, man, she was, Japanese women are really good at making, helping you get attracted to them. This girl made sure that everywhere I went, man, in the school, man, because I was in the Air Force, but then after school, University of Maryland was at the high school on Kadena Air Base. I go in there, man. This woman was like, hey, yeah, somebody introduced me to her, and after that, I couldn't get rid of her. So finally, man, I said, all right, let's hook up. So we went out, and then, after going out that night, I said, okay, well, look, let's go check this whole love motel out. I think maybe she suggested, because that was actually my first time at a love motel. So yeah, she suggested that we go to a love motel. And I later found out that she was in a relationship, but now I see why. So we went to Love Motel. It was wild, man. You drove up in there. Everything is discreet. You drive in there with your car. There's you can't see anybody else's car coming in, only your car going up when you go in through the little area. And when you pay your money at the end of everything, there's a sliding little thing. You put the money in, and then they close it. Then they take the money, and then when they count the money, then they unlock whatever, and then you can get out. Or they got somewhere you can, like when you walk in to, like, say, like you walking off the street, you walk into the love motel, and then there's like a machine right there. You pay money to how long you're gonna be there, and then you put your money in. Usually it depends on how long you want to do it, like 4,000, 6,000 yen or whatever. And then you pay that, and then boom, you get your key, and then you go up and you in your room. Well, yeah, that's how they do it. So they keep it very discreet, so nobody will know who's what's who. In the motels, you never see anybody else who else is in there. You never hear anybody else, nothing. Everything is pretty secure, right? And you walk in the room, they got like heart-shaped beds if that's what you wanted, because you can go to different places that you like, or like all these little toys all over the place. Of course, you got your condoms. What I want to recommend, especially for the brothers, I recommend you bring your own goddamn condoms, because I remember when I first went up in there, man, them condoms, I was like, I had my shit, but, I was going to use that. I was like, oh, hell no, this is too goddamn small, man. I ain't using this shit. You know what I'm saying? So you got to make sure you use your shit, right? And, you get in there, everybody got their nice, the nice shower, of course, bath, whatever you want to do. You can do bubble bath, whatever the fuck you want to do. You can push a button, the bed to spin around. You got the video. You can throw some X-rated videos up and shit, pouring all the shit, get your groove on, get everything roused up. But the protocol is this. I'm going to talk about what, why you need to take them to the Love Motel instead of taking them to your place. You never bring a woman that you just playing around with to where you live. You never bring them to where you live. And of course, as a tourist, you don't bring them to your hotel. Okay? Because first of all, the hotels they don't mind you bringing people up during the day, but, they know when somebody else is staying with you. And so back in the day, you could rent a hotel room and you can have like 3 or 4 honeys up in there, and they sleeping over and they ain't got to worry about nothing. Well, it don't work that way, and it's pretty much like that way around the world now in most modern cities. The way it works, I know over here in Japan, for example, is let's say you stay in your standard hotel. So a lot of the hotels, the lobbies are on like a second or third floor, or sometimes like I know where I stay at the Royal Park Iconic Shiodome, it's on the 24th floor. So because a lot of these hotels are mixtures of office building, condominiums, and hotel. Like the hotels might be like only 10 floors of, say, like a 35-story building or whatever the case may be. Like the Park Hyatt is the same way. The Park Hyatt, you got to take in Shinjuku, you got to take the elevator all the way up to a certain floor. And then I know when I stayed there, I think I was on the 48th floor or something like that. But the hotel was only like the top 6 or 7 floors, right? The Park Hyatt. So they do that because when you go up in the elevator, they see who's up in there because they got cameras in the elevator, right? And then whenever you come back to your room, you always got to stop at the elevator will always stop at the floor that the lobby's on, no matter what. So I know that the Daiwa Roynet, I'm a Daiwa Roynet member, it does it all the time. In the business hotels, all the lobbies, they can see whoever's coming in. So the way it's set up, they know who's coming in, and they see who you with, and they say, oh, excuse me, sir, but she cannot stay here because you only have for one adult, and if you want, you just pay for another adult, right? So they know, they're checking everything because they know that they lost a lot of money by just having anybody and everybody stay in hotels. So they don't want to do that. So that's why it's not only do you not want to bring somebody back to your hotel anyway, but you just don't want to go through the hassles. But the real reason, the big reason too, why you don't want to bring them back to your hotel or your place, because they're not your girlfriend. And I need everyone to understand that they're not your girlfriend until you ask them to be your girlfriend. And obviously you're not going to ask no girl you just met a few days ago. You might have went out to coffee with her, might have went to dinner with her. Now you ready to get your groove on with her and she ready. That ain't no, okay, great, we've been going together 2 or 3 times now, can you be my girl? No, that's not how it works. But a lot of Westerners, what they do is they bring these women back to their place. They have sex. The sex is good. They bring them back again and again. And before you know it, the woman is like, oh, yeah, I'm your girl. Even without you even asking her, she's like, okay, I'm your girlfriend. And then she's going to start treating you like a girl. And you know me, I always got examples for shit. I'm going to talk about this example before I get back into how the Love Motels work. So when I was in Hawaii, I was there for 4 years. And in my last 2 months, man, I must have ran through a lot of women, tourists. Because I wasn't really going to date no local Hawaiian girls. A lot of them girls are they're overweight, man. They're fat. They got kids. They think they all that. I took a few girls out from work that were okay, but then I found out later on they got kids, man. Every time you take them out, they can spend all this money on them. So fuck that. So I started hitting the tourists up. There's a lot. Obviously, Japanese go to Hawaii a lot. So I was running Japanese tours. I was also meeting some women from Mexico, whatever. But I'm focused on the Japanese. So, but this lady wasn't. There was a few Japanese, of course, that live Japanese that live in Hawaii. So I went to this club one night up in Waikiki, which I was clubbing almost every night, and I met this chick. And I remember first night I met her, and then we danced, and then we exchanged numbers and whatnot, and then I don't ever think I think I took this girl. Maybe I took her away from the club to a bar or something one time. I forgot what it was. Maybe I did. But anyway, by the third time I saw her, we were having sex. So my house, my condo was like an hour drive from Waikiki, literally on the H1 all the way out there. And I had to turn around and go to work the next day too. So I remember driving this woman out, and I took her out to my place twice, man. I hit it twice. And then I remember she wasn't my girlfriend. I never asked this lady to be my girlfriend, nothing like that. It was just purely, to me, it's just a sexual relationship. But, she thought otherwise, right? Obviously, because I took her back to my place. So I remember we were in my car. I had a Audi TT. I had a red TT, man. I was sporting that thing around at the time. And she's sitting, I'll never forget, the reason why I mentioned the car, because I had the system all set up, and then one of my friends from work, because I was a finance manager in the auto business at the time, and then she also was a finance manager at another dealership that we had. It was like four dealerships that the company had owned, and I was on the same lot. And she called me up while I was driving because she was drunk, but she said she was sober enough to drive, so she had drank something. She was driving. She said, "Oh, can you nurse me home? I just want to talk to you until I get home." So she's talking to me on the phone. She's talking about 20 minutes. This girl's sitting next to me. So as soon as I get off the phone, the girl that was sitting next to me, a Japanese girl, got mad. She got pissed off. She said, "Why you talking to that girl in the car with me? You see me sitting here," because she spoke broken English. "You see me sit here, why you talk?" I told her, I said, "Look, that's my coworker. I want to make sure she's okay." And she got mad. So, so we got in an argument in the car. I said, "Look, you don't tell me what to do in my life, in my car, anywhere. You don't tell me what to do. We're not on that kind of term. We ain't got that kind of relationship. And even if we did, you don't tell me what to do." I told her straight up. I said, "You don't tell me what to do. What are you getting all upset for? I talk to whoever the hell I want to talk to in my car." And you know what? I dropped her ass off, man, and I never seen her again. And she was calling me. And I was like, I just ignored her. Because I was like, I ain't putting up with this shit. But the moral of that story is because I brought her back to my place a couple times, she automatically assumed that we were dating. That we were going to be going out. See, the same shit will happen in Japan. You bring them to your apartment. You bring them to, you start introducing them to your friends and eating, and your friends walking in. "Hey, man, come over. I want you to meet Tomoko. I want you to meet Junko. I want you to meet, Miwako or whatever, And it's like, hey, wait a second, she's like, okay, I guess I'm in the mix because he's introduced me to his friends and whatnot. Or it can work on the reverse too. She can be like, wait a minute, we're not really boyfriend, girlfriend. We're just having sex. But what ends up happening is that people will start relationships, and then before you know it, they've been going out for a year, and it's really just a 1 year, one night stand. But they've been going out for a year, and then now they're talking marriage, and then they end up usually end up just going to a local city office, and they get married, and now they're married, but it's still like a one night stand. They may have a baby or two. They may be, they won't have a lot of money. Of course, the guy's probably teaching English or something that the case may be. He's not making a lot of income. She's not making any money because she's not working, or she might be working part-time. And guess what? Before you know it, they end up getting divorced because they didn't really love each other. All they were just fuck buddies. That was it. And they never was able to communicate the feelings between each other. They never was able to really communicate or clarify what this thing that they had going on was. Because simple mistakes like you brought her back to your place. See? But if you take them to a love motel, every time you having sex with them, you take them to a love motel, there's no strings attached. And there's a lot of advantages to taking a woman to a love motel in Japan. For one, I know they changed the law, but before, when I was here in the 80s, if you went to her house, because sometimes they will invite you to their place, and that's another thing. If they say, well, hey, I want you to meet me at my house, and then you're like, no, we're not there. Let's meet at the love motel, babe. Or you want to eat? Okay, let's go eat somewhere else. I'm not going to your house because I'm not your boyfriend. See what I'm saying? You have to let them know. The minute you go in their house, you're their boyfriend. Before you know anything, you're their boyfriend. You're their man. So that means if they don't want you with nobody, you're their man. See, that's how it works. But I remember, it's like you're out there and you're doing your thing, and it gets quite confusing because you don't know what's going on. You're like, okay, wait, what is this? What is this, a relationship? What are we in? What are we doing here? You don't know. And before you know it, like I said, you in a relationship that you never thought you was going to get into and that you never should have been into. You have to keep that shit under wraps. You must always keep that shit under wraps. Always. You should never bring them back to your place, unless then you want to start a relationship with them, because they have to know where they stand. You need to remind them all the time where they stand, See, so like I said, you go out and you'll hang out and do this, that, the other, and see, we all gonna make mistakes. Like I've been in many relationships here, well, not relationships, but just just went out with many girls in Japan. And I remember I met this dentist, and Rapon gave me a mention in one of my videos, and I just told her straight up to her face, I just want some Japanese pussy. And she said, okay, no problem. She said nothing happened that night. And actually, no, we did. But at the time, I didn't really know too much. I wasn't experienced. I brought her back to my hotel. Then I ended up staying at her place for 2 weeks. But luckily for me, she knew the deal. She had her own business. She was professional. She wasn't looking to get in any relationship. She just wasn't wanting to have sex. So that feeling was mutual. Okay, so you have to know not only how you feel, what you trying to get out of this thing with these women, but you also have to know what they want or they're expecting to get out of it. Even if because a lot of time what happened, man, with the relationships, with the setup is the guys thinking, especially a lot of Westerners that come over here and they get that Japanese ass for the first time. They're like, oh my God, she was so good. I remember, I had a lot of stories. Guys like, oh, she was so wet. Oh my God, and no smell. It was so good. This, that, the other. You know what I'm saying? And they fall in love and they say, oh man, I think she's the one. I think she's the one. But on the other hand, she's not thinking that way. She's got work. She's got her status. She got her, her career going. She ain't even, because the average Japanese girl knows that once they come into a relationship with a man, their aspirations, their career, and pretty much are over. Now they're starting to okay, I guess I am geared toward marriage. So geared toward him only working and me raising the children. So that's why they don't fall in that easy. But sometimes they get trapped and then they get into the relationship with the man that they didn't really want to get in a relationship with, and then things end up going awry later on down the road. So you just have to read this right. Now, the etiquette on how to present this love motel thing, like I said, you running into a woman, you met her somewhere, not always at the club, but you met her somewhere, like on the street. You can meet women on the street, on the train, whatever the case may be. You call them on the phone, you meet them for coffee, taking out for dinner. And then, you could tell, you just could feel it. You could tell when it's going to happen. But like I said, before all this, you need to know where that love motel is at. You need to know where you need to take these girls to love motel. Don't be at the last minute, oh, okay, where we going to go? No, you a man. You're supposed to always know where you're going to go. You don't ask a woman nothing over here. You know where you're supposed to go. You're supposed to know where that love motel is at. You're supposed to know, have those plans set up. You're going to hit that. You're supposed to have those plans set up. So, like I said, me, I walk around and I don't have to go to the love motels anymore. I'm a married man. I don't need to go to the love motels. And shoot, if I take my wife to the love motel, it's because we just want to be at a love motel. But I'm not myself looking to take another bitch to a love motel, because I don't, that's not what I desire. Am I going to say that I would never do it even though I'm married? No, but hasn't been my desire. So, there you go. But everybody's different. So what I'm saying though is when I do drive around my area and walk around, I notice everything. I'm learning everything. I'm like, oh, that's where this is at. Oh, that's at. That's that restaurant. Oh, that's that. Oh, that's where that museum's at. Oh, see what I'm saying? So when you're walking around the city in Tokyo, Osaka, Fukuoka, Sapporo, wherever you're at, Nagoya, Kyoto, you need to know your surroundings. You need to know what is in your surroundings. And if you're a single man, you need to know where that love motel is at, or those love motels are that you can take, right? And you need to always have a backup. Because sometimes love motels, depending on like Christmas Eve, forget about that shit. Christmas Eve, you ain't even gonna be able to get a hotel, because that's the most romantic evening in Japan. The couples are all in love motels, because a lot of time the girl and their boyfriend girlfriend, but the guys living too far away and from each other, because they don't live with each other unless they actually gonna get married. So he might be living, say, if you're in Tokyo, he might be living all the way in fucking Hachijoji, and she might be living in Minato-ku. So guess what? There's a place that they usually gonna meet up in Shinjuku, and there's a lot of love motels around there, or Ebisu, or whatever, and they go there and they meet up and they reserve. And they usually don't do love motels. They do love motels, but they usually do like really nice hotels, because Christmas Eve is a wonderful time. You walk around the Christmas lights, you get the good dinner, the restaurants are packed, dinner's out, the whole ambiance. and every woman in Japan that's going out like that or thinking, oh my God, please don't let me be on my period because I got to get fucked by my boyfriend, whatever the case may be. So that's what they're all thinking about, that romantic thing. See? So that's the setup. So that's why you got to always have a backup plan. But that doesn't usually happen. There's only one out there. So what I'm saying is, so you've been on a date for the girl a few times, and now you're starting to feel like, okay, this ain't the one, trust me. But you're going to fall in. A lot of time in Japan, you just find yourself falling into a piece of ass. I done been out with so many girls, man, and I'm like, damn, how the hell did I end up with this chick? How did I end up in the bed with this girl? When I got more experience with the love motel thing, I was like, okay, how did I end up at that love motel? How did I end up at that love motel? I still remember how I ended up at these love motels. But that's usually happen. You're out, you're having a good time, and then, you say you touch up on something, or, you could tell, she getting closer to you. She wants you to hug her when you're out and about. The hair smells good. She smells good. You could tell by the way she's dressing that she's down. Then guess what? You're like, all right, look. You just kind of, Japanese, the way they would do it, they say, Ino, the guy, right? To the girl, and they looking at him. She's like, yeah, all right, it's on. And you got to do the same thing. You look at him and say, we can go this. I like this. I like that love motel. Let's go in that love motel. And as you ask them, you pull them, you walk through your way. I like this love motel. Let's go in this love motel. If you feel that pullback, it ain't happening. You got to watch the body language in Japan. It's all about body language, too, when it comes to those types of things. It's about the body language. Because it's not that she don't want to go with you. She might be on a period and things just don't be right. She might have diarrhea. And, they like to have a clean ass, man, when they make love. And the Japanese don't like to fuck with dirty. And same as me. I don't like it either. They got to have a clean ass. In the West, man, a lot of women, they take a shit and they still want you to hit them from the back. Fuck that. Japanese girls, man, they like to be clean, right? So, but most of the time, you just go, all right, then you go and you get in there, you go in with the girl. Sometimes you feel like nervous and shit, because that's the first time, of course. But you got to have a way of making them feel relaxed. And then you get up in the room. My thing, I used to be like, oh, you know what? I just want to go in and see what the beds look like and see what it look like. I'm kind of curious. You ain't got to do nothing. You know what I'm saying? I just want to go in there and just take a shower. Let's just go take a shower or something like that, bath or something. And they're down. Next, man, as soon as you get in that bathtub, you get the washing and you get like Vinny said, you get the, you know what I'm saying? Next, man, you in that, in that love motel, right? You got the condoms, you got everything going, and you on. But see, another real reason too, why it's so good to go to a love motel when you first meet women and you first sleeping with them or whatever, is because, and I remember what I was going to say now. I know I said something earlier in the video, real quick. Okay. When I was here in the 80s, and I'm going to get back to this. When I was in the 80s, they changed the law since then, but usually what happened, when a woman invites you over to her place, and if she served you a drink, if the guy had sex with her and she didn't want to have sex and she called the police and said, hey, he raped me, the police would show up and say, we don't think so because you served him. And most women would not even file that because they know that they can't say shit about it. But then they changed the rule now, I guess. It's getting like the West, no means no, some shit. So anyway, getting back to the love motel thing. So the reason why you want to do that, because in a love motel, a woman she ain't got a pot to piss in court if she say you raped her. You see? Now, yeah, you don't want to, sodomize a woman if they don't want to be sodomized. You know what I'm saying about sex? Sex has to be consensual, right? So some women, not in Japan, but some countries, they won't do certain things, right? But like some women don't want to do anal, want to do whatever the case may be. Some guys don't even want to do anal, I'm not an anal guy myself, to be honest. But you know what I'm saying? But some people do, and they'll probably get up and say, oh man, no, you gotta try it, it's good. It's like velvet. I tried it. It's like, all right. I just keep them about the shit. But anyway, I'm not gonna go into all of that because we all got our own stories. But what I'm trying to say is this. In the love motel, a man is more protected because when you go to a love motel, the woman went in there. She wasn't forcibly pulled in. Nothing. She went in with you. You had sex. There's no way, practically 98% of the time, she won't be rolling out there saying you raped her. Because she took her ass to a love motel with you, and she's an adult just like you. That's what I want to say about that. So also, too, so the protocol in the love motel is when you're there, the first thing you do, you get in there, man, no matter what, even if you took a shower an hour earlier, you take a shower together. That's the first thing you do. You take a shower together. You make sure you clean. If you want to get in the hot tub, after that, get in the hot tub. You make sure you clean. You never go in there, dirty. You make sure you clean, and then you handle your business. And then sometimes after handling your business, you may want to get back in the shower again. Hit it a few more times. Take your time. Be relaxed. Make her feel comfortable, because she's not going to feel comfortable the first time with this big Westerner, get ready to go up in her. She's not going to feel comfortable, but you have to make her feel comfortable. Of course, you're not just going to be shoving your shit down there because you can. This shit's tight. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to scare them off, right? Because that's another thing. They could get scared, and then they could be like, oh, no, I don't want to do, nope, it's shutting down for the night. You know what I'm saying? Because usually a pussy, man, when they walk around all day, that shit's shut. They got lips and shit that shut up, right? Close up over it. So, it ain't opening up for nothing until they get hot. Then they're like, then it's going to start spreading and then opening up, right? But for the most part, it's just a shutter box. I mean, a shut thing is just flaps, closed, and everything as they walking down the street and going about their daily business and shit to protect that motherfucker from, outside extremities, right? So that's what, this is just the anatomy of the human body, but that's what I'm saying, So, humans are stupid because they don't understand that they have a lot of protective measures, especially for the genitals. The genitals are well protected. For the man, the way it hangs, the way it's worked. The women have so that way, that's the hardest body for you to hurt, the hardest body for you to injure, because you're supposed to be reproducing more human beings. That's what it's all about. But anyway, that's what they do. So, so you get in the Love Motel, you're doing your thing, you're having a good time, and then you take her back out. Then, of course, when you take her back out to the Love Motel, you want to grab something. You don't want to just drop her off. You want to get, if it's dinner time or lunchtime, whatever, get something to eat. Maybe set up another encounter with her to hang out. Sometimes, man, you run into these women, and y'all, every time y'all see, before y'all even eat, oh, let's go to the Love Motel. Okay, let's go. Because she's going to be pulling you to the Love Motel. Especially because you treated her right, she's going to be pulling you to that Love Motel. Right? Now, a lot of guys are probably asking this. Well, how do you end this and before you hit the next one or go to this, that, the other? You can be hitting as many as you want if that's what you choose to do. But you have to know maybe there's like 5 or 6 other Love Motels that you may want to take these other women to. But you have to always have a good exit plan to where, like when they call, because usually relationships in Japan or these kind of encounters, they just kind of fade, right? Like me, I was just like, okay, well, all right, that was cool. So next, you know what I'm saying? And they might, and another thing, you don't necessarily have to exchange numbers all the time. Well, in this case you do because you want to meet them a few times. They like to do everything online. So just do your line app. Don't give them your phone number, just do a line address, right? Just say, okay, line me. So they exchange lines over here. So you do line. That way you ain't got to worry about a bitch calling you on your phone every 15 minutes. You can just turn your notification off. You can't turn your notification off on your phone. You can just go do not disturb, but why you want to do that? Because you got other people trying to call you. So just do your notification off. Then you check at your leisure. Oh, yeah. Oh, shit. Junko just reached out to me 5 times. What the fuck? And then you can see, oh, shit. Okay. Yeah, babe. Look, I'll get back to you. You never get back to him if you're done with him. You already with the next one or you already got 2 or 3 on. Now, one last thing I want to say about all this thing, because it basically has to do with sex in the Love Motel. Or why you want to bring the Love Motel. In Japan, lately, and Japan was never really a STD country, but I've been reading stories, but lately that the syphilis is going up in Japan, and chlamydia. Chlamydia has been around for a while, and basically that's just you have sex with another woman, and the same day you have sex with another woman and another woman, and you basically passing each one of these juices from these females to another female, and sometimes it can infect that female with chlamydia, right? So you got to be careful. You got to protect yourself. You got to always keep yourself clean. Wear the condom. I wouldn't go in there bootless, trust me. Because one last thing too, one thing you got to understand. I was going to say this in another video. I forgot. Never come into a Japanese woman. Don't bust a nut up in there. Because a lot of these women will do that to trap you. Yes, the old trap rule. Yes. You got to be careful of that. You got to be careful. You don't bust up in them. They would say if a Japanese woman come to you and say, "Oh, you don't need to use a condom," use that condom. Say, "Okay, well, the thing was, well, look, Because some women don't like to use a condom. They don't like the rubber feel up in there and everything. And because they know they don't get that wet or whatever, then you got to do something else. But you want to use a condom because you don't need these women. A lot of these women over here, they're on their last leg. They're on their last leg. They're in their 30s something. They're desperate. They'll lay up there and they're like, yeah, I'm going to get pregnant. You know what I'm saying? Because they were a Westerner and they think they can get away with that shit and they think they get to keep the Westerner because they've seen some YouTube shit or whatever, right? So you want to make sure that you always wear a boot going up in there because Japanese know that they always wear boots. You got Japanese couples that are married still wearing condoms to keep from getting pregnant because the way it works in Japan is a lot of Japanese women, believe it or not, get abortions because the doctors don't push the birth control pills. They got some rumors going around, oh, birth control pills not that good. Well, no, it is good, but the doctors don't want you knowing about it because they make more money on abortions because they do a lot of abortions. Yep, there's a lot of abortions in Japan. But that don't mean that the one that you claim in gonna get an abortion. So the best course of action is always use a condom and always take a woman that you have no intention of being in a relationship with to a love motel. Now, after a while, they might be like, well, we've been to love motels a few times. When are you gonna show me your place? Guess what that is? That's a fade out. Because when you get that question of, well, what are we doing next? Then that's when it's time for you to fade out. That's when that line is like, you don't answer that line anymore. And then you will eventually delete it. See? That's what that means. Because that's not what you came in. So know what you're trying to get into before you go into something. And of course, if you're trying to court a woman and you think you're going to fall in love with this girl and you trying to, then that's a totally different animal. I still wouldn't bring her to your place though. But you would just take her to those places and just build it up and say, hey, you know what? I really like you. I want you to come by my place for dinner. I'm going to make dinner for you. Then they can be like, you okay? Then you never take them back to Love Motel. Then that means your relationship is really on. All right? So I just wanted to get up here and say some of these things. I got to get to the gym, but I will talk to you guys later. This is your boy BSP Japan. I'm out.